Hi, I'm John Hansen, professional bass angler. We went down this weekend. We fished the 2011 Bassmaster Southern Open down on Lake Toho. Just want to talk to you about what I did, what I had going on, and how I finished. I finished 65th out of 200 boats. It's the second Bassmaster Open that I have participated in. I wanted to take time out to thank all my sponsors and let you guys know what I used and what I did that helped me put 5 fish in the boat every day, so then I could take the time to look for bigger fish to see if I could cull out those smaller 5. What I like to do is when I'm out there fishing is I like to find a spot where I know I can get 5 fish. My most important thing is putting 5 fish in the boat. Some guys will go out there and search for one 10-pounder and not catch another fish. I'd rather have 5 fish in the boat and then move up to catch my bigger fish. I'm not saying it's the smartest thing to do, and I'm not saying it always works out, but a lot of times it does work out for me on the tough days when you can't get the big fish to bite. At least I have 5 small ones to come in with. And that's what I did this weekend. First, I took a look at the maps of the lake. I figured out where the good places were, and then I went out there and pre-fished those. When you're out there pre-fishing, you want to look for anything that isn't normal, whether it would be a piece of wood sticking out, a difference in the grasses where 2 different grass types meet, where you might have a trough that brings in a channel, or you have a trough in a weed bed where the weeds are just a little bit deeper in one spot, or they go shallower in one spot. That's actually what I found down on Lake Toho. I actually found a trough that was holding bedding fish, and it had grass on both sides and lily pads, so I had the different structures between the grass and the lily pads, and including the trough where they were bedding at. In practice, I was looking for all different types of conditions, and actually found that my first day in practice. When conditions got tough because the cold front came in, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, so I left that spot alone because I knew that spot would hold up to fish, and I went looking for different places to fish. One of the tools I use when I'm looking for different places to fish is I like to use crankbaits, lipless crankbaits, something that'll cover a lot of water to see if you can pull fish out. One of the lures that I used was a lure from Dead Fish Company. It was a 3-foot to 4-foot diving crankbait. It was in nitro gold color. You can pick that up at www.deadfishcompany.com. It's a new line of crankbaits they came out with. It actually has 3 balls in it, but it still has the one big ball in it, so it clacks really, really loud, but the other 2 balls slam around in the body as well, which give it a different sound than most crankbaits. Most crankbaits only have 1 or 2 balls in them, so it's something that the fish aren't used to seeing or hearing under the water. I actually took that through a lot of grass, and when I tell you I was throwing it through grass, I was throwing it through heavier grass. A lot of guys don't like throwing crankbaits through heavy grass. They get hung up, it makes a mess. You're constantly pulling weeds off of it. But I've learned that, if you throw the lure out as far as you can, and when I'm telling you hook set like you're hook setting on a 10-pound fish, when you pull through that grass, you feel a clump up in that grass, just jerk that rod as hard as you can, set that hook like you were setting on a 10-pound fish. It'll actually rip it right through the grass, and a lot of times it won't get it hung up. You want to be using like a 50-pound, 30-pound braid to be doing this with. A lot of guys like using fluorocarbon. I don't. I'm a braid fan all the way. I was actually using, which I got a couple more because I broke some of my old rods, which weren't PAL rods. I actually was ripping those crankbaits through with these PAL endurance rods. PAL's been around since 1910. Great rod company. I used their rods this weekend. I really, really like their rods. This rod here is the Endurance 775, medium heavy. this is the type of rod I like using for when I'm pulling through the grass. If you use a traditional crankbait rod, it doesn't have the backbone to rip through that grass. A crankbait rod is really, really flimsy, and when you try to rip it through the grass, it just doesn't rip through as well because you got a lot of bending in the tip of the rod. So I like my rods a little bit more stiff when I'm throwing crankbaits through grass. It helps me get that crankbait out of the grass when it gets stuck in there. Also this weekend, we got lucky. We got to fish for bedding bass. And let me tell you this right now. I just got the new Minn Kota Talon. You can get that at manventureoutpost.com. You can't fish bedding bass effectively without a Minn Kota Talon. The Minn Kota Talon, it's one push button. It goes straight down behind the boat. It instantly anchors you in place. If the wind's blowing, you can put yourself out in front of the wind, anchor yourself so the ripples on the water doesn't inhibit you from seeing the fish. That was a big success for me, not having to sit there and spend the time on the trolling motor back and forth trying to stay on my fish. So that was a big help. I also want to thank AMSOIL. AMSOIL is all I run in my boat. I think it's the best oil on the market. It's a fair priced oil. You can get that at AMSOIL.com. But AMSOIL is in my boat for two-stroke oil, gear oil, hydraulic oil, anything you need oil-wise, they have it. I put it in my truck, my diesel. It is the best oil on the market in my opinion. I want to thank RemoteMechanic.com, HealthBridge Chiropractic, the financial support that those guys give me and help me out with on an everyday basis is everything that I need for when I'm going on these events. So I just wanted to give a special thanks to those guys. Doctor of Custom Baits, he made me some crazy leg crawls. I like them custom made. I like my claws to have a chartreuse claw on them with a green pumpkin or a black body. He takes care of me, gets them sent out to me as fast as I need them on short notice. So, you know, I just want to thank them guys out there, and I really, really appreciate that. I also want to take the time to thank RMC Boat Works. They just picked me up for the 2011 season. Those guys are a must. If you fish waters that the waves get crazy, Lake Erie, Chesapeake Bay, anywhere where you're in 3 to 4 foot plus waves trying to fish and run your boat, they have what's called a troll lock. It's a locking mechanism that actually locks your trolling motor down. You can look at my other videos on YouTube. I actually have a video specifically just for RMC Boat Works for their troll lock. That is a great product. They have a new product that's getting ready to be released. It's a mount for all your electronics. This mount will be amazing. Your electronics will not fall. They will stay in place no matter how bad the waves get, which will keep your eyes on your electronics so you can drive and follow your electronics when you're trying to drive in 4 foot waves and you're trying to reach up and straighten your electronics out. That's just can be impossible some days, and some days all you have to do is rely on your electronics to get you from point A to point B when you're in 2 to 3 foot waves and it's foggy and you have to let go of the steering wheel to pick your electronics up so you can read them. So look forward to that coming out of RMC Boat Works. And I just wanted to thank everybody. And we took 65th place on the 2011 Bassmaster Southern Opens, and we're looking to improve on that. So we will see you at the next one, Lake Norman. I'm John Hansen, and have a great day.